are here with Nick Cassenbaum.
This is Nick Cassenbaum.
Cheers, all right. Nice to see you. You're a contemporary of ours, and you are contemporary in the London Jewish cultural scene. You're a street performer, you create theatre, you do shows, you're performing your show BUBBLE SCHMEISIS at the JW3, which is the Jewish Cultural Centre, which we were in last night.
He has made a show. It's in the Schwitz. That's a steam baths.
BUBBLE SCHMEISIS is all about the Turkish baths, the bathhouses of London. There was a time when every London borough had its own bathhouse, and the ones in the East End became very Jewish because Jews would go there.
In the show, Nick tells true stories. Stories about cigars, bagels and barbershops.
When you go into the steam rooms and you lay out on a marble bench and they take a big brush and wash you.
I was taken into the Schmeiss room and Eddie got my rag, wet it and put it over my head like that. And I laid out on the bench. Oh.
BUBBLE SCHMEISIS is about my journey through a lot of these different London Jewish groups and not fitting into any of them.
Stories about London, the North Circular and schmeissing old men. That's washing them.
Or being pushed back from a lot of them and finding the only place that I kind of had some sort of connection was at the baths.
Stories about home, heritage and identity.
I wanted to find something that was that resonated with me, that was interesting, that was communal, that wasn't going to synagogue, that wasn't going to a football match.
Last night we went to see a Yiddish concert performed under the musical direction of Rachel Weston, a real British Jew. You introduced it as a nigun, which just means a tune written by the Klezmer, which is a modern, maybe the foremost popular modern klezmer band, which is Jewish jazz on the scene today. Wordless and yet so Jewish.
The thing about learning Yiddish songs is it's not just learning melodies, but it's learning the history that goes with those songs. It sounds to me like you started with the music, but then that might have drawn you into the culture.
And the wind is a metaphor for the kind of oppression of Jews under the Tsarist government in Russia.
You can't just sing these songs, it's like you need to tell people who sung them and where they came from and how do they connect to the way that Jews travel and migrate. There are songs about every facet of human life, every facet of human existence, from food to conversion to religion to rape to...
So these aren't sugar-coated pop songs?
Do you want to see my Schmeiss brush?
Oh, you weren't kidding.
I'm quite, quite a flammable thing. But this is what's called a basin.
Basin is Yiddish for mop, by the way.
This was brought over in the 1800s by the Jews who were escaping the pogroms.
That's it, yeah. There we go, you're a natural.
The first time I was there, I was with my granddad. This is maybe 3-4 years ago. Yeah. And I go in, I lay down on the big bench, and he starts schmeissing my back.
Is it a gentle thing or is it a harsh thing?
Right, you go for it.
And as he was schmeissing me, he left no crevice unclean.
I'm laying there completely naked, and then my granddad says the words I never thought he'd say to me whilst I lay naked. He says, roll over. And then you roll over and he schmeisses the front.
When you say you schmeiss the front, you schmeiss the front?
Schmeiss the front.
No, but I'm saying, I'm not suggesting it's sexual. I'm suggesting that it's interesting that you could have your family member, or for that matter, a friend or stranger, you said even, wicker mopping your genitals.
And I think it's really important that a lot of the songs that are written in Yiddish, they're about like really heinous things that have happened to Jews, like really, oppression and war and genocide and these things that aren't over. The more you sing about it as a Jew, the more you kind of make connections between our history and things that are happening right now. And that's one of the other things I really love about Yiddish and about Yiddish music. Like it doesn't make sense to just learn it and perform it. Like part of the process is, part teaching and passing that on. That's kind of the sensical, logical thing to do, I think, with, I guess, any kind of folk music.
Well, there are two types of Jews at Schmeiss. You've got the secular ones in their kind of older age, but then Hasids
Oh, they're schmeises.
Yeah, they go on a Thursday.
I grew up pretty traditional in what's called United Synagogue here. I don't know if it's the same in Canada.
We know that there's different factions, so that there's a maximum amount of fighting between Jews.
Yes, of course. Why would there not be?
There's no co-ed schmeising.
There is on a Tuesday.
There is. And
I think it's a Tuesday or a Monday. One day's mixed day.
Are they naked?
If you want to. I've never been on a mixed day.
Why wouldn't you go on a mixed day? I mean, that changes everything.
A lot of the people that play Klezmer in London, it's you know, I would say it's predominantly not people of like particularly or you know, non-Jews.
Non-Jews do it now. So you go down there and there's lots of the other communities present that live in East London. And the only Jews that still go there are old men.
When you go on the Yiddish courses as well, you get a lot of non-Jews. You know, it's sort of a testament to kind of Yiddishkayt as a kind of cultural phenomenon as opposed to a religious phenomenon.
So I'm kind of trying to get more people my age to come with me because this is like a real secular Jewish tradition. I mean, I go on a Saturday morning. It's really nice cleaning. You get completely.
You can get schmeiced in places you never thought you would be schmeiced before.
Absolutely, yeah. The first time you've been schmeiced in those places, you don't turn back because you do the back first.
So it's funny that we're having a cultural Jewish experience and you're bringing us shellfish and pork.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, well.
There we go.
Ein, zwei,
Three.
drei. No shit. It's not our food, is it?
It's meaty.
It's really chewy.
It's like salted gum.
I love it.
Your friend Nick that we talked to, who makes BUBBLE SCHMEISIS, he's in this thing. Like, he brought us gifts to eat. That was the most treifedicke, goyish snack food that he could have put in front of him. Literally, he put shellfish and pork on the table in front of him.
Pork scratching.
That is
Have you
worse.
never had pork scratchings before?
No.
I've never heard of pork
no.
You've never
scratchings.
heard of pork
I wish I hadn't, and I wish I hadn't tried it, to be frank with
They're
you.
really disgusting.
They're really disgusting.
You know a good one because they have this crispy outer layer and then this soft, fatty bit here.
Ah, crispin.
Do you eat these
Good
for
old
real?
crispin
Yeah,
glimmer.
for sure.
Oh God, it's off. Oh God.
My family, my great granddad was the first Jewish non-kosher butcher in London.
Wow. A pioneer.
A pioneer.
So he was, let's say, part of the reform movement.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a radical.
He was a radical.
Was he?
Radical.
No, he just needed money.
3 Hail Marys, 1 Mazoinus.
Oh man.
What do you prefer?
It puts the pourquoi back in pork. You don't like either thing. You don't like the pork or the alcohol. You're in a horrible, vicious cycle.
I said that's a bagel. When you ordered it, you said bagel.
We're from Montreal, where we take our bagels very, very seriously.
And we should say bagel because if we stop saying bagel, then that voice, that London Jewish voice, will be lost forever.
The reason why bagel is a more of a traditional London pronunciation is the first Jews that came here that brought the bread with a hole, or the hole surrounded by bread, were Polish Jews. And the Polish Yiddish way of saying it is bagel.
It's a bagel. 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 Bagel.
But in North America, no, you're not wrong because the first Jews that made your influx were German Jews in North America. And their way is bagel.
Bagel. Bagel. Bagel.
Look, can we just agree that it's not a bagel?
It's not a bagel.
No,
good
or
on
a
that?
bagel.
That's the because we
We
were in.
shake on that?
Yeah, okay, it's not a bagel.
Yeah, thank you for not calling them bagel.
Can I
Not a
schmeiss
bagel,
you?
but bagel.
Schmeiss you, schmeiss me,
Schmeiss you, buddy.
People say they only built the North Circular for Jews to visit each other. Because this is where you have the biggest Jewish population and this is where you have another big Jewish population. So the North Circular is the route between.
What's interesting about you is that you, like us, believe in Jewish culture. And it sounds like religion, religiosity, theology does not have that much to do with it.
Religious kind of subversion, I guess that's the word, is a massive part of my Jewish story in London. My family have traded on non-kosher things for as long as they've been in this country. They sold non-kosher meat, they sold shellfish, and also Christian subversion, like they helped campaign so they can trade on the markets on Sundays, which was a Christian holy day, which used to be illegal to trade on Sundays here. The reason we have Sunday markets in England now is because of Jewish people who wanted to trade on that holy day. So that was kind of
Jewish commerce.
Yeah.
Anytime like anyone puts in a blurb, you know, reviving a dying language, I really hate that whole narrative. It's like the more you say that, the more it will be that. You know, it's not, and it's sort of self-congratulatory. It's
Note to selves, stop saying that we are reviving Yiddish single-handedly around the world.
There's properly rhyming slang for Yiddish words.
Really? Like what?
Cement mixer, shiksa. You don't want to marry that cement.
Well, we applaud it. We applaud you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, quick lightning round here
Yeah,
for
go
Ellie. Now, Ellie was the Yiddish valedictorian.
This is a lot of pressure.
Okay.
Can we get 60 seconds on the clock, please? Here we go. Altakakas.
Old farts.
Bar mitzvah.
When you turn 13.
Bosom.
Bosom?
Yeah. Basim. Okay.
Eggs? Your balls?
Not basin. It's a good guess. It's that. It's the brush. It's okay. Fine.
Oh, the baby.
Okay. Beigel.
It's bagel.
Right. Bris.
Circumcision.
Broigus.
Anger.
Bubbemeise.
The bullshit story.
Knedlich.
Dumplings.
Kvetch.
Complain.
Lokshin.
Noodles.
Pish.
Pissing.
Punim.
Face.
Schlap.
Slap.
Schmackio.
Schmeckhill?
Schmeckle.
Yeah, well, you know what, you schmeiss.
No, that's right. Schmeiss.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're schmeckle.
Schmuck.
A penis.
Sticking.
What?
Sticking.
Sticking?
Stump.
Sexting.
Stooping.
Sexting.
And finally, tuchus.
Butt.
He nailed it.
What do I win? Cackles.
Tacos and pork scratchings. Thank you very, very much. Nick Cassenbaum. Bubble Schmeisis. Thank you for schmeissing with us.
Thank you for
Really
schmeissing.
appreciate it.
And that brings us to the end of our London tour. We've learned quite a bit throughout our afternoon and evening. London is a large metropolis. Many different migrant communities have come in, including the Jews, looking for a better life, creating some friends along the way, some enemies.
Because it's called a Bible.
Learning from the process, and ultimately moving on up and outwards. However, there are still signs of Jewish life in the East End, where it was all based, the Nelson Street Synagogue, Brick Lane, and of course, the dual rival bagel shops. So Judaism is still alive and well in its own little pockets in the East End.
We do know that food tends to bring cultures and communities together. In English, you say beigel, we say bagel. You say plotzel, we say pletzel. You say poutine, I say this is not bloody poutine. It's not.
Relax yourself.
There's frickin' goat cheese on this.
Mate,
I'm eating
it's
it.
not that bad.
I'm eating it to soak up the alcohol that was
Still,
implied to me by the
as
rabbi
long
and
as
the community leader.